Something that we do as real estate agents when we are about to list your home for sale is we pull your title. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that we can transfer ownership of your home to the potential future purchaser. What is a title? A title is proof of ownership, which allows you the legal rights to do what you'd like to your property as well as transfer title when someone buys your home. When we pull title, we will typically always see some form of a charge, lien, or interest on the title. And what's important to note is that these charges, liens, or interests can actually be removed or discharged. This was a really good example of a title that had quite a few charges, liens, and interests in the property. So I thought it might be a good example of something to discuss. So we're not gonna share who this title belongs to. However, we are gonna talk about what is in it. Alrighty, starting from the top. So as we can see here, we have a statutory right-of-way from Shaw. You will see this quite often. For the most part, Shaw or Telus will have some form of statutory right-of-way. Just means that they can get to your home should they need to. Inter alia is something that you will see. It means in short form overall. So you will see that on condos or townhomes. It means that everyone in that building will likely have this version of a statutory right-of-way on their title. Moving on. Okay, so next we have a mortgage. You'll see this for the most part, unless you're super rich and you didn't need a mortgage in the first place. You will see some version of a lien, which is a mortgage by the bank that you are getting your lending from. So here's where it starts to get interesting. We have a claim of builder's lien. So for a little bit of context, this condo building actually burnt down while they were finishing up building it. So the condo was never actually lived in by our owner. However, there was a lot of subcontractors that were involved in building the entire complex. The complex was almost entirely done when it did burn down. So that's kind of the background information as to why we are seeing these types of liens. So when we look at the claim of builder's lien here, Stocko Construction, inter alia. So again, that means overall, which means that they did some form of contracting work for the entire building and everyone will actually see this on their title. So recently, everyone who owns a home needed to fill out a speculation and vacancy tax form to prove that you are the primary resident in your home. If you did not fill this out, then you will likely see this as a charge on your title. Now, for further context, since this building did burn down, our owner never got the speculation and vacancy tax mail that came to her for her to be able to let them know that she was not living in the home due to the fact that a good portion of the building had burned down. She was able to get this discharged by proving that this was the case. All right, on to the next one, claim of builder's lien. Same thing, this is going to be something that ends up being on title. And I know you're probably thinking, well, I mean, she didn't burn the building down. However, she has a right to a portion of the building since she's purchased it. So this will essentially be a charge on title based on her unit entitlement. So based on the size of her condo relative to the entire complex. So here's where it gets interesting. Builders have 45 days to submit a claim of builder's lien, this one, once the complex is completed. So that charge goes if they aren't paid within those 45 days. And most builders will actually, or subcontractors will actually claim builder's lien almost right away every single time just to make sure that they do get paid. Now, when they don't get paid, such as in a situation, I guess, with this complex, they might take it up court. Not you specifically, but it will be a charge on your title. So this is what this means on this certificate of pending litigation. These guys up here were not paid, therefore they're going to court so that they do get paid. She was able to get this and this one discharged. It just took a couple days. Now, what do we know about charges, liens, and interests in property? You can't transfer title if you have these types of things on your title. You need to be able to get them discharged. So what did we do? We held the value in trust based on her unit entitlement. So the amount of money that was owed based on the size of her unit relative to all of the units in the complex, we held that in trust. What is trust? I call it purgatory. Essentially, the lawyer holds it for you. It's money that cannot be touched, and it is held there until the builders can get paid. That may take years. That may take 6 months, but it's still held in trust to that time. If the builders get paid out, then that value that's held in trust gets paid back to the seller. Now, in the meantime, to get it discharged, we had to put it in trust, and in return, the builders removed the lien off of her title. There was actually a couple more charges. There's a second page to this, but it pretty much says the same thing. This Stucco Construction, yes, they have a pending litigation, but Columbia Scaffolding also has a pending litigation. So you may not see all these things on your title. This was a very specific situation. However, you will likely see the mortgage. You'll see a statutory right of way. Sometimes you'll see an easement. So if somebody has a right to get around your property, if you will. If somebody can't get to their property and they need to use your property to get to it, it's called an easement. And you'll see that more often on single detached homes rather than townhomes or condos. If you guys have any questions, you know who to call.